Hey y'all, it's me, Queen J, back with another episode of season 3 of the Let's Get Uncomfortable podcast. I am so excited for this I feel like I'm excited for every single episode, but this one like has touched I can't even I don't want to do that. So before we get started though, I always start with a bit of mindfulness that's not changing. I'm not going to tell y'all the topic, but I'm super excited and y'all will know why in a second. But with that being said, it is now time for us to pause, breathe, and relax. It is now time for us to enter a space free of judgment and only awareness. Enter a receiving space of love, kindness, generosity, and extend that same kindness and generosity towards yourself. Show yourself a little bit of compassion as you navigate around the world's challenges, your personal challenges day to day. Know that each breath that you take, it's just a step forward, it's a step closer, and it's okay. It's okay to be able to acknowledge where you are. If you're not where you want to be, know that there's another chance for you to get there. And if you are where you want to be, take some gratitude for that. Don't be so in a rush to get to the next thing. I know that in this life, it's so easy for us to be like, okay, well, when's the next thing? When's the next thing? When's the next thing? But let's just try to sit and be very present with the things that we have accomplished and the things that we have overcome now. Again, if anything does come up for you during this episode, feel free to take some time, step away, take care of yourself first. Um, and understand that you can heal at your own pace. I always do that, forget that the mic is right there. But remember that you can heal, grow at your own pace. All right, y'all. I hope that that brought y'all some tranquility, some peace, because it always does that for me. As you can see, I have a lovely guest here. Okay, we're not going to leave him out. We have Cedric Bertelli today, and we are going to be talking about redefining emotional resilience. Y'all, I'm I'm so excited because I feel like I'm always the friend that's like, "Hey, we need to be able to have these tools so we can like reset ourselves in the moment. We don't have to react, you know what I mean?" So like just being able to talk about this is incredible. But I want to ask you first, Cedric. We were just talking earlier, but can you relay the 3 things that led you to being in this work?
Yeah. First, thank you for having me. I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. 3 things. Maybe there's more, but I will say these are the 3 for them. You know, the first one was my relationship with my grandfather.
Hmm.
And as I grew up as a teenager and young adult, I became interested in seeing how he passed away last year, was
Oh,
101.
whoa.
Yeah.
That
Uh,
well, congratulations to making it to
yeah.
101. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. And so he was a World War II veteran.
Mhm.
He was what we call in French, a maquis. That means that he was hiding with other men in the forest,
Mm.
waiting for specific messages on the radio, coded
Mhm.
messages, and then going to do special operation against the
Oh,
Nazi.
yeah.
So anyway, um, I was very curious about how him and most people from his generation were
Mhm.
able um, to be as resilient as they were.
Mhm.
They never talked about the war. The only thing
Yeah.
that I saw, never, the only thing I saw him talk to his friends of the same age as him was
Yeah.
sometimes they were saying things like, "Do you remember?" And
Mm.
the other guy would say, "Yeah." And that's it. No word were exchanged, but
Wow.
no, the details were exchanged. But the way that him and men and women from his generation um, were resilient was always a question to me.
Mhm.
What is the difference between that generation and our generation or
Mhm.
younger generations? Because as I told you earlier, they didn't have therapists, they didn't have
Yeah.
workshops, they didn't have any of that. They found a way to nurture resilience for
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
It wasn't perfect, it was PTSD as well, of course, but
Yeah.
different. Hmm? That
Yeah.
was the first thing. Observing him and people of his generation. Number two was I had the opportunity to manage a large team working for hotels,
Mhm.
and you realize that you don't manage people, you manage their emotions.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to me to create the environment that is conducive or was conducive for each staff member as much as I could, for
Yeah.
them to feel content, to
Mhm.
thrive on a daily basis, to be happy to come to work. So
Yeah.
depending on their personality and for the little I knew about them and their life, what type of function they like to work, with what type of coworker they like to work, to what type of guest. And you
Yeah.
realize that when you put them in an environment where they feel comfortable, wow, people shine, people have fun,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's really you need that in a team,
Yeah, you
you know,
do.
as much as you can. And
Mhm.
the third thing was my own stuff. Right, I was very anxious. I had depression and a lot of anger, self-directed anger. And I put myself through therapy as a young adult, later
Mhm.
on in adulthood as well. But therapy is great,
Yeah.
but you can stay there for years and understand why you're having a pattern without seeing
Yeah.
the end of the pattern.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you
It
learn a
can
lot to
become cyclical is what you're saying? Like, it
yes,
can
right,
become, like, repetitive if you just I mean, because therapy sessions, I'm realizing that they're all different. They're all based on the individual's needs. So, like, my therapy session isn't gonna look the same as somebody else's. You know what I mean? They might do something
absolutely,
totally different because it's your emotions, right? But I see what you're saying, where you're saying like it's a pattern almost of like, oh, we have this session, we talk about this, but now what? We know that this is a pattern, but how do we well, I was gonna say take hold, but you're showing me a whole different way, so I'm gonna let you take it.
okay, but how can we resolve it, right?
Yeah,
How can we
yeah.
resolve it? Because even if you know why you're a certain way, let's say you can relate how you feel today, your anxiety or your stress, on a
Mhm.
specific trauma.
Yeah,
Well, the
yeah.
trauma happened, what are you going to do about it, right? That's the
Mhm.
thing, right? Often I say trauma healing is a good concept, but it's impossible
Yeah.
because a trauma happened and
It's
there's
already
nothing we can do
yeah.
about it.
We can't go back to, and that's one of the things that I struggled with because I'm open about it, but I was diagnosed with having PTSD as well from just like my upbringing and everything. And one of the things that, like, before I had even got diagnosed, I was like, am I going to be fixed? Am I going to get cured? Like, where's the drug? Where's the medicine? Where's the something that's going
Mhm.
to turn my brain to like a normal brain?
Yeah,
And I feel like that's a never ending question that I had for a really long time, because it was like, you're not going to get the answer to that because, again, like you just said, the trauma already happened.
yeah.
Whatever occurred has already occurred. Now you have to figure out how to move past it without letting it override and completely derail whatever dreams you have for yourself or whatever life you have for yourself.
And that's completely possible.
Yeah, it is. It is completely possible.
100%. And we in a way we keep on dying.
Yeah.
For some of us, for whole life, we keep on dying from something we
Mhm.
survived years ago,
Ooh,
right?
that's
It keeps on
beautiful way to
it,
say that.
and that's what happened, right? That you carry depression, you carry anxiety, that you die a little bit every day from something that's even a difficult childhood. You survived it.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
survived it.
you're here. We're
Yeah.
here. We are here. Yes, that is
Now
true.
your childhood, we cannot do anything about it now. Now what we
Mhm.
can do is looking at what are the impacts in your current life, what wounds your
Yeah.
childhood, for example, or rape or a car accident or whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
What are the wounds in your current life
Yeah.
that we can resolve?
Yeah, of course. That's where we can find the resolution. But if
That's
we
right.
look at, like you said, if we look at the specifics, um it's hard. It's a lose-lose. You can't find any cuz it's already happened, like you said. So I
Yeah.
get it. I see.
Yeah. Now, we understand today how the brain constructs emotion.
Yeah,
Would you
yeah.
let me to tell you?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, in order for us to have a debilitating emotional pattern, that means anxiety that keeps on coming back, a fear that keeps on coming back,
Yeah.
at the origin of any of those patterns is always the same type of events. It's always what we're going to call a trauma.
Mhm.
So we
Yeah.
agree on that. Okay, that's a trauma. Fine. Now, what is happening during a trauma? First of all, what is a trauma? A trauma is an instant that holds too much stress,
Yep.
physical or emotional, for us to take on when we live it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
It is
it.
too much for you at that moment. That's it.
That's it. It's like you ever see a computer just burst and because it starts smoking. That's what we do. But
That's right.
that's what a trauma does to us. It kind of we can't handle it, so that's why it becomes overwhelming. That when I learned that a couple months back for my job, I was so like, that's the definition of a trauma. It seems so simple, like, oh yeah, I get it. But then you break it down into like different incidents, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's why it's a lot.
10th and 10th. I mean,
Yeah.
from the moment of conception up until today, 10th and 10th moment, the first 1,000 days
Mm-hmm.
of life.
Yeah.
Basically, as human beings, we finish the pregnancy outside of the womb for 1 year. I mean, we can do anything, right? For a
Yeah.
year, like if we don't put the breast in our mouth, we just like die of hunger, like right
What do
next to
you-
our mouth.
You're right. Yes. Yes. True.
We're the
True.
only one that a horse can walk, an elephant can walk, like
Mm-hmm.
any other mammals.
Yeah.
Dogs, they're born blind, but they still can go to the mama,
Wow. Yeah.
how do you say, titties? I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know,
There you go. No. 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 That's it. That's it.
Sorry for,
No,
and
it's okay.
they can drink, not us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We finish gestation outside for a year.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
first 1,000 days since procreation, since the beginning, it's a
Mm-hmm.
very fertile soil for trauma.
Yeah.
Because
Whew.
we're so vulnerable.
Wow. Yeah.
But wait for that. The trauma is not really the problem. The trauma is the setup. Now, what creates the patterns or the dissociations within the trauma?
Oh. Okay. Okay.
So when it's too much, we dissociate because
Yes.
that's a normal process. So we don't suffer too much during this traumatic event. So we dissociate. Now, what's happening when we dissociate? That's the key. You see, what you and I were aware of right now is about 2,000 bits of information processed at the speed of about 150 miles per hour.
Wow.
That's what we're aware of. That's your voice, me looking at you, me having an awareness of what's going on in the office. At the same time, our subconscious brain can gather 400 billion bits of information.
Whoa.
Versus 2,000, processed at a speed of 150,000 miles per hour.
So is that why our subconscious is super I was going to say super powerful just in general?
Yeah.
Because I've learned a lot about like, especially when it comes to like self-talk and stuff, like I've heard a lot that our subconscious doesn't know the difference between us like making a joke about ourselves or whether it's factual or whether we like actually believe it about ourselves. So the way we speak about ourselves is really important because we can't make that distinction all the time, but
that's right. And if you keep on repeating it, well, you're going to finish by believing it.
You're going to, and isn't that wild? But I mean, the way you just stated it though, it makes a lot of sense why that is, because if our subconscious can't differentiate, and I keep saying, oh, I don't like this about myself, I don't like this about myself, then I'm basically saying to myself, hey, I want you to believe this thought, I want you to believe this, which is so crazy, so wild.
Yeah, and we do that so much, right?
Yes, all the time. That's why I'm like, I always have to like reframe things. I'm like, no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Even if I say it once, I'm like, okay, no, it's not a core belief. It's not a belief. It's just a slip of the tongue. But
that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue a little bit because it's
important.
Go ahead. Do you mind?
Yeah.
So the prefrontal cortex, the conscious mind, is used as a filter.
Yes.
Right? Because if we were bombarded by 400 billion bits of information, we couldn't have this conversation.
No, we would not be able to.
So when there is dissociation, the prefrontal cortex shut down.
Oh.
And now the subconscious is wide open. So when there is dissociation, there's no more filter. Imagine your brain like, how can I say, like a huge tornado gathering all the information in your surrounding.
Okay.
at a definition of 400 billion bits of information per second and at
Okay.
the speed of 150,000 miles per hour. So there's no more filter. It's just like a hurricane of information being gathered by your brain in a non-linear, non-logical way. So wow, everything, shape,
That's a lot.
smell, temperature, everything,
Yeah.
everything. And the physical sensation that you're feeling during that instant. Your brain record all that.
Okay.
During each moment of dissociation. That means that if I'm being, let's say, raped, you
Yes.
think I'm going to dissociate only once? No. I'm going to go in and out, in and out, in and out. And each time I go out, it's a new information. So to speak, it's a new seed, potentially, for debilitating emotional patterns.
Wow.
Okay. So here is the sweet. Here is the continuity of this. Now.
Yeah. I'm listening. I'm here.
So we've got to understand that one of the main job of the brain is to predict.
Okay.
The brain constantly predicts. That's why before drinking a cup of coffee, you already know the taste of the coffee.
Okay.
Before eating an apple, before you bite
already
the apple,
know
your brain, exactly, the brain constantly predicts. Constantly. That's what keeps us ahead of the game.
Okay.
Always predicting from a past reference.
Okay.
Now, when we live the trauma or several trauma,
Yes.
and later maybe like 5 years, 10 years after,
when
the body or the brain find itself in a situation when it recognizes you got me?
Yeah. No, yeah, I got you. I'm with you. Go ahead, say it.
When you recognize one or several elements that were present during a past trauma, your brain is automatically going to predict what physical sensations you're about to feel based on what was felt during that specific trauma.
Okay.
So now those physical sensations, we call that interoception.
Okay. Yep.
You and I, we know that we're anxious. We know that we're depressed. We know that we are stressed because we feel physical sensations in our body.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know that we feel an emotion because we conceptualize physical sensations.
Yeah, of course.
Now, those physical sensations, it's an outdated prediction from your brain.
It's an outdated prediction. That's what I was going to ask you about, because it's not from a frame of reference that's happening like in that current time. It's just something from the past, right?
That's right. But the subconscious is recognizing something in your current environment that reminded to a specific trauma. Automatically, it's going to predict what you're feeling in your body, exactly how the same way when you predict the taste of what you're about to taste.
Oh, okay.
Now, those physical sensations is what let us know that we feel an emotion.
Oh, this is interesting. So that means like, okay, because I've always wanted to know, because I do dissociate sometimes. And I've always wondered what that, like, why it does that. Like, I've always wondered why it does that. And when it did that, or when my brain did that, and when I found myself in those situations, why years later, everything came back from just like a song that was playing. And I was like, whoa, 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 this is, hold on, I don't want to know this. Like, I was trying to put it back, you know, like go back in my subconscious. I don't want to know.
Too late.
But it's too late. Yes. But it's like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So like you said earlier, we're the only mammals that hold on to trauma. That really makes me think of, I don't know if you've read this or not, but the body keeps the score.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's so wild. It's so wild, but it's so true. It definitely is. That's so interesting.
In the word of Lisa Feldman Barrett, she's kind of like, right now she's a queen of the neuroscience of emotion. She's out of Boston. She will say, the brain keeps the score and the body is a scorecard.
Whew.
Right? The brain, the subconscious, right? Like keep the score, like of everything that was, and bam, right away when you recognize something, tack, 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 there are physical sensations, interoception based on what was felt. It's amazing to think, right? When you feel an emotion, it's like your body is a time machine.
It is. It is.
Going back to maybe you were 2 years old, 5 years old,
however old you were. Exactly. Yeah, and it's so crazy because you can literally feel I've always wondered if I was tripping, because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like I'm 27. I feel like I'm 16. You know what I mean? Like some
Mm-hmm.
days, that's so wild. Oh my God, I'm so happy we're having this conversation. Go on though, before I interrupt you.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how far you want me to go, but if debilitating emotional patterns are
Mm-hmm.
an outdated prediction from the brain,
Yeah.
we can update that prediction.
Yeah. So talk with me a little bit about, so I want you to, so use the analogy of how you said the third thing was, oh, you said based off of your personal experiences, but when we were talking about how we're the only people that can hold, you know, the trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and you said that animals don't, but pets do,
Yes, right.
because we
Yeah,
control them and they're too close to us.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
like cows and horses do, because we also control them. So you were saying that, and this is fascinating to me. So y'all, basically, if we didn't control these animals, they would be able to just let go of their trauma, which
That's
is
right.
so wild. So how did you, I guess, how did you know that for certain?
I did well. It's How did I know that for certain? How did I know what for certain? I want to make
How
sure I
did you
understand.
Oh, how did you know that, the like, if it wasn't us trying to control, or like controlling the animal, if that they would just be able to just let go of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we work with. So I founded the how do you say a company? I guess a non-profit
Yeah, yeah,
corporation.
yeah.
Yeah, called the Emotional Health Institute,
Yes.
and we work out of the USA, France, and now Japan. And
Wow.
through the Emotional Health Institute, we
Mhm.
work with ethologists, which are people who work with the behavior of animals, and
Okay.
veterinarians.
Oh.
And so we have an amazing woman called Dr. Naila Sherino. She's a veterinarian, and she works with
Okay.
cows and horses mostly.
Mhm.
And it's from observing humans behaving with animals and behaving with
Mhm.
themselves, you know, and the impact that it has on the farm animals and the pets.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So as humans, we learn to control our emotions very quickly.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
very quickly. I mean, when we're young, depending on our parents, when
Mhm.
we are having a tantrum or we are sad, the parents are gonna come and try to control it
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
making us feel better, right?
Yeah.
So we learn very early on from our parents, our teachers, our grandparents how to control or push down our emotion, because in
There
some
you
families you're
go.
not supposed to show them, right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
bottle
yeah.
it down.
So
Same
suppress
thing.
it. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Okay. Okay.
Or you learn to breathe, or to positive talking,
Yeah, positive
positive,
talking.
all this
Yeah.
stuff is these are we develop through the years an amazing
Uh-huh.
battery of coping mechanism to
Mm.
regulate our emotion.
Yeah, yeah.
And same thing for our dogs, right? If we have a dog or horse that has a hard time doing something, we're going to take over and help them do something. If they are
Yeah.
afraid, we're gonna go and we're gonna take them in our
We're gonna
arm and say,
cuddle.
"It's
Yeah,
okay."
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Horses, same thing. So we
S-
are controlling their emotion.
Oh, I don't think we ever, I don't think us as humans ever realize, oh, we're controlling that emotion. I don't even think we even know that we're doing it when we're taking care of a child. You know what I
I
mean? Like,
know.
I don't think we, like, I don't even want to say subconsciously, but I don't think on the surface level of things. I think maybe subconsciously we realize that we're controlling, but on the surface level, we don't have that awareness to be like, oh,
Correct.
I'm controlling or smothering this emotion, or whatever that is. That's interesting. Wow.
Correct. And but if you think about it, if you
Uh-huh.
see a kid, I don't know, having a tantrum or hurting, it
Yeah.
hurts you.
Yeah.
So often we are going and taking over
Okay.
because we are hurting, because we see a
Oh.
kid hurting or a
Okay.
dog or something. So
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
way, it's because we are hurting, we are impacted in our flesh by seeing somebody
Uh-huh.
we love, we care for hurting, then we're gonna go and try to save them.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So
But
of
we
course I'm
don't
not
see
saying
it.
to not hug a kid. No,
Oh,
that's not
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm
No, no,
saying,
no, no,
right?
no.
You know what I mean?
I got you. I got you though.
Hmm?
Wow, that's a fascinating theory. That's actually really, wow. I got to sit with that for a second. I have another question, but that's wow. So, okay. In the same thought process, we're talking about, so, okay, in layman's terms, are we not wanting to control? Would wanting to control our emotions be, I guess, the, I don't want to say good or bad, but like the off-putting thing to do? Maybe is there another route that we could take other than trying to
Yeah,
control our emotions?
of course. Yes, absolutely. So
Okay.
that's what we do. That's the work that we do. It's called MRES, emotional resolution, and that's what we do
Oh.
with our clients.
Okay.
Um,
And how do you do that? What ways do you do that?
well, it's actually quite simple.
Mm.
Um, we keep on having those emotions because we keep on controlling them or ignoring them.
Okay.
Now, remember that those emotions are only outdated prediction from the brain,
Yes.
right?
From
So
back then. Yeah.
that's right, from back then. But the emotion
Gotcha.
feels very real, right? Like they're not in the
Yeah.
stomach, they're not in the foot. I mean, that's real. It's happening now. But those
Yeah.
sensations, in a way, they're just ghost. They ghost from
Oh.
the past, right?
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
ghost from,
Yeah.
and they feel very real, but they ghost from the past. They're
They
not
are. They are.
congruent, right? They're not congruent with our current reality.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say, for
Yeah.
example, you and I, we meet for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and I see you, and wow, I have a feeling in me, like I feel anxious. I don't know, my throat is tensing
Yeah. Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
chest. I don't know you. That's nothing to do with you. Maybe
Yeah.
it's something that I don't. It's definitely something that I don't remember. Maybe it's a smell. Maybe you have the same smell as a kid who was bullying me, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's the shape of your glasses or the shape of your body. So my subconscious
Yeah.
is gonna
Yeah.
get something. I'm gonna feel tense, and I'm gonna make up a story. Queen J, I don't know about her.
Ah.
I feel something. So I'm
I
gonna believe the story
see.
too.
Mm.
Do
So
you know what I
what?
mean?
But do we believe the story based off of the past prediction, basically?
No, we believe the story because we're feeling tension, and we
Oh,
like
in
to
the
find. That's right. We
Ah.
find the reason. I don't
Mm.
know about her. You know,
Oh.
kind of like this. We do that all the time, right? We
Yeah.
meet people and we feel a certain way, and very quickly we jump onto, oh, I feel this way because it's probably like such and such.
It's the judging. That's
That's
where the
right.
judging takes place.
Yeah.
Oh,
But sorry,
wow.
I changed. I don't know why I said that. I went off road. Let me go
Oh,
back
no,
to
no, no,
your
no, no.
question.
That's fine. That's totally fine. I needed to have that visual too. So I get it. But yeah, my question was, how do you
Yeah,
start the emotional resolution?
that's right. So when you feel an emotion,
Yeah.
the question is not why do I feel it, right? When you feel an emotion that you know that you don't want to feel anymore because it doesn't serve you, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
coming back and toxify your life.
Mhm.
All you've got to do is to let this interoceptive prediction, those physical sensations in your body,
Yeah.
play out until the end without trying to control them or without having anybody around you helping you to control them.
What? Hold on. That sounds like the opposite of what? Are you serious?
Yes, and you've got to do that in a safe space. If not, it's not working, right? You've
Yeah, yeah,
got to
yeah.
do that, like maybe in a session or between friends, right? You feel safe. So
Mhm.
you feel the sensations, and so let's say you feel anger. Don't scream because when you scream, you release tension, right? Why do we
Oh,
scream? Why do we want to punch something? Because it releases all the tension we have in the body. That's a way to
it's
control as well.
is that a way to also interrupt
Yeah,
the
sure.
intro?
Short
Oh,
circuit.
okay. Okay.
Huh?
Short
So
circuiting the emotions is not good. No bueno. Okay.
so you see, let's say you say like feel your emotion, and sometimes people feel like angry, and so they scream, and they
Yeah, yeah,
think that
yeah.
they feeling their emotion. No, they're on the top of the wave. Or sometimes it's sad, and they
Oh.
start crying. There's nothing wrong with that, but you surf the top of the wave of the emotion, but you
Oh.
don't feel the emotion. It's like in the
Okay.
ocean, right? You feel the anger or the sadness. That's the top of the wave. Now, the top
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
wave, you're gonna surf it your whole life if you want to, no problem.
Uh-huh.
No, the solution is inside.
The
It's in the
solution is
current,
inside.
inside,
Wow.
physically, in your physical sensations.
Okay. Okay. Go on. I'm ready.
So remember that you know that you feel an emotion because you feel physical
The
sensations.
physical
So
sensations.
you feel
Yes.
physical sensations, and then you take action based on that, right?
Oh, wow.
Now, those physical sensations, in order to resolve an emotional difficulty, all you got to do is to move your attention and to feel your physical sensations. Doesn't matter why it's there. You just move your attention and you feel your physical sensations.
Uh-huh.
Now, it's important to feel at least two sensations at once.
Okay.
Because if you only feel one sensation, let's say your throat or your chest, your mind is going to go on and think about something. We don't want that. We want your entire mind, your entire attention to move. Yeah, boom, in your body.
Okay.
What sensations are you feeling in your body? What make you realize that you're angry or stressed or anxious? So maybe you're gonna feel your legs are weak, you have your dry mouth or knot in your throat. So you feel the sensations, two or three at once. And now it's important to keep your attention in feeling what's going on in the body. Those sensations are going to change. They're going to evolve.
Okay.
So maybe they're going to tense even more and then relax. Maybe they're going to move inside of your body. They are going to change. And this phase of transformation takes between 2 seconds and 90 seconds, never more.
What?
This is how long an emotion lasts.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
If you don't do anything, right? So
Yeah.
just move your attention, and what's happening? What's happening is that your body is regenerating, re-experiencing the physical sensations that led to a dissociation. Or that, actually, to be precise, your body is re-experiencing the physical sensation that happened in you during a dissociation.
Okay. There we go. I was going to say, I see where you're going with this. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So at the end of this prediction, your brain is anticipating to be hit by some kind of danger.
Yeah.
Just like it happened.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yes.
But at the end of this prediction, when the danger is supposed to hit,
and it doesn't,
you're safe and sound.
You're safe and sound.
From that very second, your emotion will be updated. Wow. Your emotion will be resolved.
Okay, so that's amazing, but that seems so okay. So when you were explaining it, it made me think of mindfulness. So would you say that it's you being mindful of the physical sensation that you're having in the moment that you're being led to the feeling? No?
So I know about mindfulness, but not enough. I will say here what we're doing is precise. So mindfulness is a meditation that you can do at any time. Here, that's not the case. You do this when you feel triggered, when you feel an emotion.
Really?
So when you feel whatever emotion it is in your body, and you don't want to feel it anymore, you stop, you close your eyes, and you're not mindful for no breath. You don't want to breathe, right? A mistake would be like to breathe into your emotion. That interfere with the prediction.
Really?
Yeah, of course. That's why it's so difficult to talk about this work, because we've been learning to breathe into our emotion for like 30 years, right?
I've been breathing into my emotions, but
my daughter is 3 and she's learning at school to breathe, and she comes home and she says, "Do not breathe. Don't breathe when you feel
Do not breathe."
So she's a very confused child now.
Yeah. I'm kidding. No. Yeah. Wow.
But there's none of that, right? If you feel uncomfortable in your body, if you feel tension and you try to breathe, you interfering with this prediction. That's the thing, right? When it's important for the body to feel this entire prediction until the end without any type of interference, so that the brain realizes, you don't need to control or anybody need to help you. And still, at the end of this prediction, when the danger is supposed to hit, you're safe and sound.
Wow.
At the end of the prediction, your emotion will be resolved.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. I mean,
am I clear? Does that make sense? Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I'm thinking about all the times that I've had panic attacks, and like recently, I think the latest one that I had, it was also combined with like food sickness, but it was over the weekend, and my brain kept coming up with like all these scenarios, and I was like, bro, I'm just sick. I'm just nauseous. Like, it's not like my brain was going to all these different extremes, and it was reminding me of a time where I felt alone in this exact same circumstance, but in the exact same situation, like with the sickness, but I was alone and in that sickness for the first time, and my body had never experienced anything like that before. So what happened for me was a dissociation of like hey, these are the feelings that happened when this happened the first time.
Yeah,
You felt abandoned. So now you're gonna feel abandoned now. And it was just
yeah,
like, I'm not like, it was me trying to control the feeling of abandonment. And I'm realizing what you're saying. I'm like, wow, so that's why when I'm asking questions in the middle of I guess of the discomfort, all I'm doing is interrupting the actual what
yeah.
did you say the word was? Intro?
Prediction,
Yeah,
interoception. Predict.
interoception.
It's an interoception, a predictive interoception.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
what I was doing. Each time I was asking my friend a question to try to like combat against the feelings of abandonment that I was having, it was making it worse cuz like if there was no response to I guess if the person was quiet, my brain was like, "Oh, you're alone. You're alone.
That's right.
You're
That's
alone."
right.
Even though this person is physically in front of me, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not alone." Like,
Yep.
so
So
I
that's
get
when
that.
you need to become the master of your inner world again, right?
Okay,
So it's like your mind is gonna go on and rightfully so, trying to find all the things bad that can
that are
happen, so
wrong.
you can.
That are
That's right.
wrong.
So now you've got to take over,
Uh,
override it, and what are the sensations in my body? Now move all your attention
uh,
just to the sensations of your body, and to keep your attention
mm,
active in feeling just the sensations as they're changing.
mm,
As long as they're changing, that's not going to take longer than 90 seconds.
wow.
And at the end, this emotion, this feeling of abandonment, if you feel actually safe, if your friend
Yeah.
is there, it's very important,
Mm-hmm.
that'll be it.
Wow. So I could have used you
Yeah.
on Sunday. Wow.
Ask your friend,
That's
like next time you're in a thing
incredible.
like this, next time you're in a situation like this, ask your friend to ask you what sensations are you feeling in your body.
Okay.
What sensations are this? Okay, now feel the sensation simultaneously, and you do
Uh-huh.
nothing. Just
Just do
tell your
nothing. Just
friend, yeah,
focus on.
feel them as they're changing in you.
Wow. I'm definitely going to try that. Y'all, I warriors, I'm definitely going to try that because okay, so remember well, earlier we were just talking about somatic therapy. Is this also alongside somatic therapy?
That for me is somatic, absolutely. Yeah. For
Okay,
me,
but
is because it's only sensations.
well, hold on. I thought somatic therapy was movement. No?
No, no, no.
Uh-huh.
Soma is the body,
The body.
right?
Okay.
So it can be like it can be dancing,
Yeah,
whatever you
yeah, yeah,
like.
definitely. That's why I said movement. I be
Mm-mm.
dancing.
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Here, I mean, if you put it in my word, if you have some emotion and you dance them, it's also a way to control them sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah. And sometimes no,
Oh.
maybe sometimes you just. The problem with human beings is we like to romanticize anything.
Yeah.
So if you feel sensations and you just move really the sensation, it might work. But
Yeah.
human beings are gonna try to make like beautiful gesture and
But
make
and
it
it's also
lyrical.
temporary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
No,
I
it's
see.
let the sensation dance within you. Let them dance, and
Oh.
they're not gonna be pleasant. They're gonna be uncomfortable. Remembering
Yeah.
that these are the sensations that you felt during dissociation, during
Yeah,
your trauma.
yeah.
So yes, they're gonna be uncomfortable.
So soma means the body, and then what's the tick is what's that when you
I think it's just like what we put at the end to make it a word.
Oh.
You know.
I was gonna say, does that mean still, like
I
still the
don't think
body?
so.
I don't know.
I
It's
don't think so. I think it's just
okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay, wow. So yeah, I thought, wow. I've always so I think where I got that from honestly was Instagram, and I kept seeing it everywhere that somatic therapy is just a lot of movement. It can be just dancing, it can be, yoga or doing different movements within the body, moving the emotion through your body.
And it
But
is right. It is used. I mean, you're completely right. It is used.
yeah,
The term somatic therapy,
uh
I would say, encompass a lot of different things.
yeah, I see
But it's
that
working with
now.
the body basically. Except
Yeah.
that in my word is you just let the body work for you.
Let the body work for you. Wow. Is that what you learned when you went back to France and you started studying somatic
Yeah,
therapy?
we started. I started to by studying that. At the origin of this work that I'm doing now
Mhm.
was a physical therapist. A
Wow.
physical therapist to notice that if you just let the sensations move in the body without interfering with them, like
Mhm.
really good things were happening, even
Wow.
physically, right? And so
Mhm.
we build upon this observation. And
Oh.
then it was the work of Lisa Fairman Barrett that explained very clearly, not too long ago, maybe in the last 10 years, she
Yeah.
came out with how our emotions are made, that explained very clearly how an emotion is made. We know today,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
know
yeah.
this old principle of prediction. And so
Yeah.
we were starting to do this work before understanding why it was working. And
Oh.
with work and the work of other people such as Antonio Damasio, which is also
Mhm.
a neuroscientist, like it all makes sense. And he allowed us to make it even more, to make the work even more streamlined, clean, clear,
For
no drama.
everybody to, yeah, for
That's right, no
everybody to
drama.
understand. Yeah.
That's right.
Wow. That's so fascinating. I'm about to try some somatic therapy tips, y'all.
Yeah,
I'm really excited because
you
I
can
was
do it.
wondering, I mean, and that's the thing, like recently I've been wondering, I'm like, okay, why, like, not why as in a judgmental way, but like with the work that I've done, like I've done EMDR therapy,
Yeah,
I've done cognitive behavioral therapy. I started with that first to get to reframe and uh yes, reframe my thought patterns because they were intuitively harmful and things like that. Like they weren't healthy, right? So I had
understood.
to disrupt those thought patterns and create healthier thought patterns. So, but you gotta start there first. Can't just go into, oh, let's just reprocess everything. So then I went to, after that I went to EMDR therapy, and that's basically, it's like when you have the dissociative moment and you go back to that dissociative moment, and you are actually allowing yourself to feel what you felt during that dissociative moment, but you're also articulating what you didn't get to articulate at that time. So you're reprocessing it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot better. You do cry a lot. I mean, if you've been through some things, you
Mm-hmm.
will. But I feel like we got really deep with that, but afterward, sometimes I would be like, okay, so what do I do when these feelings come up and I'm not in a triggering situation? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
but now I have a tool
yeah.
where I can just, honestly, I'll probably close my eyes and ask myself those questions for sure. But that's something I feel like we're always taught to, oh, your trigger is something to teach you, what you're uncomfortable about and like help you evolve, but nobody ever really talks about how it can help you evolve, or like the process
Yeah.
and like the way you described it. So that's incredible. Thank you
You
for
know,
your work, Cedric.
oh,
Like
my
that
pleasure.
that's
All
incredible.
those moments that we
Yeah.
dissociated, is that
Mhm.
part of our life that are not part of us anymore,
Yeah, yeah, that's
right?
exactly what I've been told. Yeah.
So it's not like it's our, people call it like they're our shadows or whatever. They're just part of us that are not
Who we
they're
are
part of
anymore.
our existence. That's right. And so
Yeah.
and so some of us, we're attached to that, right? We're attached to our shadows. Some of us
Yeah.
use those shadows for creativity, and they think that they need the
Mhm.
shadows to keep on being creative. It's not true. It's
Yeah.
all a fantasy.
Wow.
No, we before you we started the show, we talk about trauma healing, and I often tell my clients it doesn't exist. Trauma healing
Mm.
doesn't exist because it's a good title. It sells a lot of
Yeah,
book,
yeah, 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 yeah.
but you can't heal a trauma because the trauma happened.
Yeah.
The trauma happened, and
You can
what
heal
we
your present self, you can heal your
that's right.
mind, but
That's right.
to state that you can heal the past, I you can't do that. I
Nope.
sometimes, like, I'm getting real personal, but I mean, I don't really care. I'm always been an open book, so it's whatever. But like sometimes when I have like when I used to have nightmares, I would always like I'm always been an analytical person, so I've always like dissected, like, oh, where did that come from? Why did that happen? And then I can have an answer. But even if you have the answer, it's I want to say that even having the answer isn't a be all end all. It's not a it's more like a very temporary band-aid that just will
That's right.
wash away in the wind or in
Yeah.
the water, basically, because when something else comes up and you can't pinpoint it, where are
It's
you
back.
back to doing the same thing? The same
That's right.
thing.
Yep.
So that's incredible that your work focuses on that.
Just the wounds and
Wow.
the trauma created. We'd never talk
Just the
about the trauma.
wounds.
That's right. We never, most of the time, we never ever mention a trauma. I don't want to know what your
Wow.
trauma was.
Okay.
I mean, you can tell me if you want to, but that's not my job. I can't
Yeah,
do
yeah,
anything
yeah.
about it. But
Wow.
how does that impact your life today? Give me all the
Mm.
way that impacts your life today. And
Just
we're
the
gonna,
wound. So like even
that's
if
it.
I just said abandonment wound or
That's
so
it. I feel
wow.
abandoned when in a relationship, or when, I don't know, my boyfriend doesn't respond to my text. Sometimes it's something stupid like this, right? You wait for
Yeah.
like 5 minutes too much. It's like, oh fuck, it will never. Sorry, it will never.
It's okay, yeah.
So it's that all these little things. They're not little things, right?
Yes, they're
How
not.
does that impact your life today? Be honest with yourself. Don't judge
Mhm.
yourself. How does it impact you today? And we never
Wow.
talk about the trauma. We only use everyday things that bother you,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everyday things that hurt you, that keep on hurting you,
Yeah.
and we're gonna resolve them one after another. Tak, 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 tak,
Wow.
tak, tak.
Wow. So how
Mm-hmm.
many and you said you're based out of France, USA, and Japan?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So how long have you
Yep.
been doing this work, Cedric?
Well, I started in 2009, but
Mhm.
I created the Emotional Health Institute in 2019.
Okay. Wow.
So that's when we really started to communicate about MRES, emotional resolution,
Mhm.
and teaching this work to therapists and
So
coaches, and
therapists have picked this up as well, and they're
yeah. Mm-hmm.
wow. And have they told you like the success about with their clientele or anything? Have they mentioned anything surprising that they found
Of
surprising?
Yes, what's surprising is that it's working. you know, in the sense, like, it's so simple, isn't it? It's
It
so
is.
simple, but that's what resilience is all about, right? What is
Wow.
resilience?
Yeah.
Resilience, like, we nowadays we took the term resilience and changed it completely. So you got to be resilient. Be
Mm.
resilient. Well, good luck with that. Being
Because
resilient
you
is
what
not.
does it mean? Yeah.
It does exactly. Is not a personality trait.
It's not.
No, resilience was first used to talk about soil in farming.
Okay.
And we'll say that the soil is resilient
Mhm.
during the fallow season, in between cultures.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think the word is fallow, but I'm not sure.
I think so. Yeah.
So you plant your field, and
Yeah.
then the year after you're supposed to let it rest.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
don't do that anymore. Now we destroyed our soil.
Then we
It's called
just
yeah. But
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
yeah,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
soil is resilient when we leave
Oh.
it alone, and all the little insects come inside and make the soil
Better?
fertile again. That's
Fertile.
right,
Fertile. It
fertile.
fertilizes the
That's
soil.
resilience.
Oh my gosh.
So resilience
Mhm.
happens when your environment, for human beings, resilience
Yes.
happens when your environment is supportive and loving.
Oh
So in
my
order to be
god.
resilient, you need to be surrounded by love and safety.
Whoa. We got
If
to stop there for 1 second. We got to pause and let them hear that because I feel like whoa. That's a mind blower for me. That blows my mind because I have also been the person to say I'm resilient. And then when I've said that, when it's times where I've had to suppress my emotions, suppress my thoughts, and
exactly,
suppress my voice.
that's super important what you just said here,
Yeah.
because that's a cultural thing, right? I'm
Yeah.
resilient, like I'm a warrior. It's not the way it works.
No.
And there is this how can I say that? It's almost like a legend of, like, if you have a tough childhood, it's gonna make you resilient.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. Yeah, I hear that all the
actually,
time.
is a reverse. There is
It's the
there is
reverse.
this. It's a reverse. There is a neuropsychiatrist in France called Boris Cyrulnik.
Mhm.
Is in his 90s now.
Wow.
Holocaust survivor. His whole work is about resilience. He's
Okay.
the one who started the concept of resilience years ago,
Yeah.
and he put out a huge study about 2 years ago on that, showing that children,
Mhm.
very young children who have a loving and safe and nurturing home, show way more resilience. That means that if something bad happened to them, they
Yeah.
will recover much faster and better than a kid who have a tough
A tough
childhood.
childhood. That
Because
makes a lot of sense. And I used to say, but that's the thing, like, I got gaslit for this. so crazy. Like, I've been gaslit to believe that resilience means strong and strength and just like pushing through, pushing past, like not
No.
showing your emotions. And I've always thought like that doesn't seem right, because I looked up the word resilience at one point and I was like, I no, I don't think that correlates with me. I don't think that aligns with me at this point in time, because it, I'm not going to say that I fall apart completely when I have things come up, but because of we're talking about that previous, that past,
Yeah.
it is a lot harder for me to like kind of get it together. Sometimes I have to take 30 minutes, or I have to take maybe even 15 minutes where I'm just like, okay, and I'm usually breathing through my emotions, but we're going to try something different. We're going to try something different. But that's interesting. So, to recap, resilience is not what we think it means, y'all. Resilience, oh, wow, I have to
There
that's
is no
wow.
resilience without love.
There is no resilience without
No,
love.
because if not, it's control, and that give you. Okay, it's it's a cliche, but that gives you fucking cancer, right?
Yeah, it
Like if you
does.
push yourself to being resilient, what does that mean? If you're resilient all by yourself, you can't really be resilient all by yourself.
No, you
Okay, that's
can't.
control. You
You need the support, and that you need the safe space that is built there for that resilience to happen. I see that
genuine,
now. Genuine.
genuine.
Genuine. There we go. Put that there.
Yeah,
Genuine right before resilience.
yeah. And that's when we do an emotional resolution session, that's what we do, right? We are
Wow.
in attention in a way. We don't do anything. As a practitioner, I do very little. My
Really?
job is to retrigger the emotion very specifically
Mhm.
with a question and a memory from, so to
Yeah.
retrigger precisely an emotion,
Yeah.
and then to quote unquote teach you to not control it. So no breath, nothing, and to move your attention to your body. But me, I'm not going to try to make you feel better. I'm going to be
Yeah.
attentive. I'm going to
Yeah.
be attentive. I'm not going to be
Do you need a tissue? Do you
compassionate.
need
No, no,
this? Do
no,
you need
no,
that?
no,
Yeah.
none of this. I'm going to be
Yeah.
here with you.
Okay.
I'm going to be, and I'm going to be, I'm going to be accompanying you. I'm going to be with
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
But it's important for me not to make you feel better. If not, this prediction is
This
never going to
prediction is
complete.
never going to complete it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And with my
Oh.
daughter, I do that a lot too, right? When she
Uh-huh.
freaks out, I said, okay, I'm right here. I love you, and I'm right here. When you're done freaking out, and if you want a hug, I'm right here. And sometimes I
Wow.
just sit on the other side of the room, and
Really?
she
Is
freaked out,
mhm.
and when she's done freaking out, she comes, she get a hug.
Can I ask, that hard for you to
Very hard,
see sometimes?
very hard. Yeah, sometimes
But
it's
you
very hard.
know that it makes her better in the end.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Now that I actually know what resilience is, I feel like I've seen that displayed in some form of medias sometimes. Like I've seen it displayed in certain TV shows, but the parent always gets labeled as cold or uncaring, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they do show the compassion after the kid, has had their, I guess, allowed the emotions to do its
Yeah.
process, do its thing. Huh.
And the parents become a part of the nurturing, resilient environment. If the parent is here,
Uh-huh.
attentive, loving, while
Yeah.
the kid is freaking out, that offer a safe environment for the kid. So I'm not saying you leave the room.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, you stay there. You stay close. Or if the kid
Yeah.
wants you to leave the room, because sometimes my daughter tell me like, get out of my room.
Get
Fine,
out of my room. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I leave the door open.
You respect the boundaries. Got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
you leave the door
But,
open.
and this is to say, this is just for the warriors, this is completely different from it. Let's say you're having a panic attack, or let's say you're having the emotions come up, right? And someone is ignoring,
No,
that's different,
you're
right?
not ignoring.
Okay.
No, and
Gotcha.
everybody is different, right? If you have a panic attack, I
Mm-hmm.
will not do the same. I'll be
Yeah.
closer to you. I'll be closer
Yeah.
to you, and I will really help you to be in your body and for you to
Yeah.
tell me what's going on inside. And I'm gonna intensify my attention towards you.
Yeah. That's
Everybody is
different.
different.
Yeah. Everyone is
Everybody,
different.
everyone
Yeah.
is different. Every situation is different. Do I do that with my
Mm-hmm.
daughter every time? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I got you.
It's there is not a magical pill. This is how you do it with your kids. No, it doesn't work this
Exactly.
way.
This is case by case
That's
basis.
right.
This is situational, based off of the mood, the temperament, the
Yeah.
just all of those things. All those things make for the building of resilience, but it
Yes,
has to be there has to be love there, and
that's
there
right.
has to be the attentiveness. I think in the same vein, I think we might also have the definition of attentive wrong too, then, because I think we confuse
Mm.
attention with, well, wait, is hold on, let me ask you, attention versus nurturing,
Hmm.
what does that look like?
So for me, if you give again genuine attention,
Mm-hmm.
it's like emotionally is nurturing,
Okay.
right? It's like I'm here, like you here, you're present. People say,
Yeah.
in a way, attention is what people call presence
Yeah.
sometimes,
Okay.
right? Now there is
Okay.
another kind of nurturing, right, where you actually give,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm
yeah,
thinking of nurturing, like hugs, and like I'm thinking of attention, like give me attention, give me the physical attention, right?
that's right.
So there's different levels of attention and nurturing, but when you're saying that you're attentive, can you elaborate a little bit more on, like, in this example with your daughter, and like how she was, like, having a temper tantrum and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, in this case, attention is I'm not leaving. I'm
got you.
staying in the room,
Mhm.
and I'm feeling my own sensations, so I don't
Mhm.
freak out and I don't
Yeah.
take
Trigger
space
you
in
to
her emotion.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So that's happening at the same time,
Okay.
and I use my word as well. Say, hey, whenever you're ready, whenever you want it, I'm here, and
Mhm.
you know, I'm more than happy to give you a hug or anything you need,
Mhm.
anything you need, right?
Wow.
And when she's ready, she comes, and
Mhm.
I give her a hug, whatever she needs at the time.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see. So I think the nurturing part would be like the hug, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
also not leaving when the kid
Not
freaks out,
leaving.
right?
Ah, okay. So that's also okay. Wow. I'm learning so much.
Because
So
if you leave when the kid freaks out, the kid, not all the time, okay?
yeah,
But
yeah,
the
yeah, not
kid
all
might
the
think,
time.
well, when I'm in pain, my dad or my mom don't love me, right? They leave. They only want to be around
Mm,
me when I'm a quote unquote good kid. Don't know what the heck is a
yeah.
good kid, right? But like if you leave, say, oh, you know what? But again, it's easy to say, right? It's
It
easy
is
to
easy.
say.
It's very easy to say all of these things. It is a lot harder to put it into practice,
Yeah,
but
100%.
I have like emotions that or memories that come up for me when you're saying these things, and I'm like, wow, that would be, because it helps me visualize, like, oh, that's what this would be instead. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I definitely get where you're coming from. Wow, the science behind this is like, I I'm actually quite speechless. Like, I've let you talk more than I've ever asked questions.
Sorry. I
No, don't say sorry. This is incredible. Like, I'm truly excited that. So I do have a question. I do.
Yep.
I just got one thing that's kind of gnawing at me. So let's say, for me personally, I love massages. Okay, and when
Yep.
I get massages, typically what happens for me is that um I can feel the emotions come up in certain areas of like my back or like my shoulders,
Yeah.
and I get instructed to like breathe through those emotions to release to release the emotion within my body.
Hmm.
Would you consider that to be a form of somatic processing, or is that something different?
Well, if every time the masseur or masseuse is touching you and every time
Hmm.
you have an emotional surfacing, that means that the emotion is not processed.
Really?
So no, if the emotion is processed, it doesn't come back. It's integrated.
Wow. Okay.
So
Okay.
so it's not about cutting the emotion. It's not to say the
Yeah.
emotion. No, no. It's about integrating those pieces of our life that was stolen from us by
Uh-huh.
events. Is to bring them back. So we become who we are supposed to be in the first
Who
place.
we
Really.
are supposed to be
Yeah.
in the first place
So
before the
when
interruptions.
somebody
Gotcha.
is touching you and
Uh-huh.
you're having an emotion, ask them to stop,
Oh.
and you just move your attention to your body sensations, and you become intimate with what's going on inside of your body, and you do nothing. You just feel what's
Wow.
going on inside of your body, and you will know, do you feel safer if they leave a hand on your shoulder?
Mm-hmm.
That helps, maybe. Or maybe you don't want to be touched, so you voice what you need,
Wow.
but you don't breathe with it. Try it one time. You just
Okay.
feel everything that's happening in your body, all the sensations moving. So you don't stay just, it's okay if you cry, of course, but go beyond
Yeah.
that. What are the sensations that makes you want to cry? You feel everything until, wow, it's gone. Guarantee you, next time it's gonna
It's
run by
gonna
your
be
back, nothing.
wow. Oh, see, like I said, okay, that's why I was like, I want to know what emotions, because for me, when I get massages, I love them. I absolutely love them. But I have a masseuse now who we work together to like breathe through the tension, breathe through. And that's honestly what I've been doing all the time. So I do like the mindfulness all the time. But I have started to realize like, I don't want to keep having to do the mindfulness. I want to do the mindfulness because I enjoy it. I
That's
don't
right.
want to keep having these secondary and tertiary emotions coming up from like way back when. And every time I meditate, I'm like, I don't want to meditate anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really
Yeah.
want to meditate right now. It's going to bring up some stuff. That's interesting. So,
So
stillness is definitely a
stillness and
wow.
attention, right? Become
Stillness and
intimate with what's
attention.
going on in your body. But
Hmm.
physically, right? No story, no fantasy, no memory. The physical sensation. Remember that these physical sensations were
Yeah.
felt in you during a specific event. And your body, your brain is anticipating that you're about to face a danger. Now, bring your
Wow.
attention and let, I could say, almost the movie of your sensation play until the end.
Mhm.
Huh?
Mm.
And at the end, tuck, you're safe and sound. Puff, this will not come back.
How long does that you said that it takes like you said like 90 seconds to however
between
long.
two between 2 and 90 seconds.
2 and 90 seconds
Yeah, when you don't control it,
when you don't
when
control it.
when you don't control it, when you don't stop feeling it. One of the problem is people start to feel it and then they become passive and they think about something else, and so that creates another emotion. So you keep on
Oh,
jump. Remember that
keep
the brain work at 150,000 miles per
yeah, yeah,
hour.
yeah.
So if you don't keep your attention sharp and active in feeling, you're gonna jump like a flea from one
You're going to
emotion
go
to another. That's it.
yeah.
And that's what's
Oh.
happening when we feel an emotion for like days and days. It's because we
Wow.
move from an emotion to another to another to another extremely quickly.
Ah, interesting.
Hmm.
So that brings wow, that's so I can't even like my brain cannot I mean I can process it. But,
You process just
whoa.
fine, I think. I think you're just fine processing.
This is amazing. So when you have a session with someone, how long does that usually last? Like do you find yourself being like, okay, stay with that emotion or stay with that attention? Like let's say
Sensations.
the yeah, stay with the sensation.
Yeah.
Is it like but is it in a specific area of their body? Is it in their torso? Is it just like, or does it just matter?
It's gonna be different for everybody.
Ah, okay.
You think that
Wow.
anxiety feels the same to me and for you? No, actually. We're gonna have
Mm.
different things. We're going to label it anxiety based on what we've learned.
Gotcha.
We're gonna conceptualize our physical sensations based
Yeah.
on what we've learned
Yeah.
and based on the context.
Yeah.
But my anxiety might be my legs shaking and a pit in my
Hmm.
stomach and dry mouth, and yours might be your heart beating and tension on the shoulder and something else.
And my brain constantly racing.
That's it. So the brain racing, remember, become the master of it. Like, what are the sensations? Like
Ah.
bring the cognitive power, so to speak, to the flesh. What
Okay.
physical sensations am I feeling now?
I like that. I like that a lot. Wow, you've given me a lot to think about. I again, I know I said this already, but thank you so much for your work,
Oh, you're
Cedric.
welcome.
Like
You're most
that
welcome.
is
Thank you for having me.
incredible. I have to look at your do you have a book? Do you have anything that like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you do?
We don't. I didn't write a book yet because the work is still evolving, and I
Still
feel like when
evolving.
something
Yeah.
is written, then it's So
It's
we'll write a
solid and it's
book
yeah, yeah,
maybe in 20 years. We'll see. Maybe
yeah.
not.
Okay, that's
But
fine. But
you can go to the website. There's a lot of information. There are
wow.
practitioners there and articles and all this stuff. It's emotionalhealthinstitute.org,
Okay.
or you can go to emres.com. It's same thing.
Oh wow. I'm gonna have to like this is was I can't even like I mean that you kind of answered a lot of like personal questions that I've had like I said especially when I when I found myself having the racing thoughts, I would always be like, okay, just grab hold of one, maybe do this. Like it was, I feel like that was a challenge for me because you're not told what to do when you have racing thoughts. Like
Racing
even like
thoughts.
my therapist sometimes would suggest, writing stuff down, just breathing. But again, everything comes back to the breath. So but
Yeah,
I'm going to try this. I am very excited. Thank you so much for coming
you're
on.
welcome.
Oh my god, this was
My pleasure.
incredible.
One thing that you can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
as
yeah.
well, if
Tell
you
me.
cannot try it, is voice your thoughts,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
That's also one thing that I've been doing
Yeah.
too.
So voice them, and as you voice them, and if you feel an emotion linked to the sensation, to the thought,
Yeah.
that all your attention, all your power, bam, boom, inside the body. Feel the
Wow.
flesh. You move into the and you feel the sensations.
Mhm.
You'll see your thought are gonna change automatically because the thought
Wow.
of feeding out of the fear
The
and
thought of the
feeding
wait.
out of the fear. So the
Oh.
thought are either way created by fear and fed by the fear or create another fear. Now the
Mm.
fear is purely sensorial. A fear is purely made of sensations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's never
So
tangible. It's never
no,
tangible fear. I think what happens, especially, and maybe this is too blanket of a statement, but this is my just thought process right now with everything that you just told me. It's almost like you said, those dissociative moments and things and those sensations that come up, they're like ghost, right?
yeah,
So the fear is a ghost as well because it's not tangible. At the time it was probably tangible when it was happening, but now it's no longer tangible. So that's why your brain, or in my case, my brain is probably spiraling because it's like, okay, let's catch on to this fear. Maybe it's this one, maybe it's this one. But the reality is, because it's not tangible and it's not physically in front of me, that's why my brain is spiraling because it's like, well, where is it? Where's the danger? Where's the
hmm
threat?
that's
But
right.
if I do what you just suggested, then my brain would be like, oh, there's no fear. We're good.
That's right. You know,
Okay.
in
All
a way, we are
right.
you, me, everybody. We're a bunch of like haunted houses walking around,
Oh
right?
my
We're full of
gosh.
ghosts, and those ghosts, they are sensations in this
Yeah.
case. It's like
Yeah.
okay, and just like ghosts, all they want is to be seen, to be felt, so they can
That
go back to where they belong.
And that's why I do this thing where I acknowledge the thoughts and I acknowledge the feelings and the sensations, but I don't stay there. But the spiraling, or like I guess the racing thoughts, like where they're moving too quickly and you
Yeah.
can't catch them, that is where I have had some difficulty. I can be honest about that. So did you find success with this when you did it for yourself personally, like almost instantly?
Very quickly, but it's because I think I come from, like, I was born almost in a forest, and I think actually I was born in a forest. I mean, I
Yeah.
come from a tiny little village in France, and I
Wow.
think I was very lucky. Um, I'm a pretty simple guy, you
Mhm.
know, and so in the sense that feeling sensations, okay, I can do that, no problem,
Mhm.
you know. Um, it was easy. It made so much more sense to me than to talk about my problems.
Yeah. I kind of like that. And because I was also seeing something, again, don't know how factual this is, but I saw it on Instagram before I got home. And it was saying like sometimes you wonder why talk therapy isn't helping you. Look up somatic therapy and look up these different things and stuff like that. But again, it was more so like dancing away and
Which works as well for some people,
yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah,
we have so many things out there, and
I
I mean
want to
most
know
of them are
more
great.
about. I want to know more about these tools, so I can just look up. So I'll go to your website too. But if I look up somatic therapy, is it gonna like tell me different like tools and just
Yeah,
a
you're
whole
gonna
bunch
see,
of?
like, I think I went to a conference a couple of years ago in
Mm-hmm.
Stanford. They were saying it was about 800 kind of like treatment or therapy out there. So I mean, a
What?
bunch,
Oh,
yeah, bunch of them are somatic. Not all of them, of course,
oh
but
wow.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's time to get to the somatic. I'm ready. I'm ready. That's so crazy, but that's so fascinating because I think I've always wondered. I'm like, I feel like I'm just talking and talking and talking, and yes, I feel like it's helping because I can like pinpoint, oh, that's a bad thought, or oh, that's a dissociative thought, or something like that, cognitive dissonance, all that and all that stuff. But it's like, because I'm so analytical, I need something that's visual too at the same time. And I
Hmm.
can't always visualize the positive stuff because sometimes it comes like a tornado, like you said.
Yeah. So
But
feel what's
yeah, so
happening. Feel.
feel. And
Don't
suppression,
act on
y'all,
it.
is the opposite of feeling. It is just being like, okay, I'm
That's
good. I
right.
got this.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Feel.
That is the
Yeah.
glacier. That is building the glacier. Think of suppression as building the glacier, whereas feeling it is like, okay, the glacier exists. We're gonna actually let it sit
Hmm.
and let it do its thing
Feel it
without.
until feel it until it melts.
Yep, feel it. There you go. Feel it until it melts. Because I was like, I don't know what the visual. Where's it going? But feel it until it melts.
Yeah.
Whew, I like that. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I know I said it
My
already,
pleasure.
but thank you so much for coming on. I cannot wait to see what else you do. As always, guys, you can find me at the Let's Get Uncomfortable Pod on YouTube. Let's Get Uncomfortable Pod on Instagram. My personal is underscore officially Queen J. And if Cedric, you have any social media handles you want to shout out, that go for it.
Yeah, you can go on Instagram at emotional resolution, and you on Facebook as well. It's called the Emotional Resolution Effect, and
Okay.
we have a YouTube channel with a lot of like tips and stuff like that, and people can listen to, and hopefully it will help them.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff, so check out the YouTube channel if you want to, and Instagram we always try to put some tips as well, and
Okay.
little videos and stuff like that, and yeah.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, as always, thank you for seeing and hearing me. But also remember that there's life after trauma if you want it. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. You